Welcome back to our second session of Smash Bros. Ultimate World of Light. So we weren't planning on recording this tonight because we've been playing Smash Bros. Just about nonstop for a full 3-day weekend. And we're just about smashed out, to be completely honest. But then we watched the final episode of Adventure Time. We figured this is a moment we should capture in our lives.
That's what it's for.
We've got a fire going in the background. It's all cozy, and we are feeling emotions.
Yep.
So we're going to get back into this.
It's important to have good endings, and you rarely get those, but this was a good ending.
It was a very good ending. And that's the thing. Up or left?
Up. Yeah, chic. Yeah. It was a very good ending. To me, it's about how you start the show and why, and then do you end it with the same reasonings. Like,
Is that the thing you think about?
yeah.
Interesting.
Well, that's how I think about, like, Supernatural, for example.
I don't know, we've just never talked about that exact feeling before.
Yeah. Well, capturing it. But yeah, like Supernatural, they meant to end it after season 5, and that's a good ending. It's a good ending because the whole show is about these two brothers. One was blindly loyal to their dad, the other one wasn't. You ended at season 5 like they meant to. They both get like a very
It's true.
full circle kind of story.
They even specifically referenced the fact that they were bringing it all around and kind of trying to make the whole thing make sense.
Now, they didn't actually end Supernatural at season 5, and we all know that, but that as an ending, if it were real...
Because that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not the ending, but it was designed to be the ending.
And that would be a good ending. Adventure Time is just about, adventure. Being out in this world, this, like, dystopia, and, getting through it. And the ending was too. I don't know, we're gonna, like, talk about spoilers to the ending here?
I think we kind of need to. So any of our friends watching this, I apologize, but I think we're going to get to full Adventure Time finale spoilers here.
Yeah, so don't watch if you're into that and you're not there yet.
Which you should be into it, 'cause it's quite nice.
It's a very good show. Nice.
Yeah, so for the rest of this episode, and we might make it a long one, we'll just talk about Adventure Time. Maybe we won't fill the whole time up, but that's where we're at. So
yeah, just if you don't want spoilers, probably just don't.
I apologize.
Yeah. Alright.
So it does kind of a full circle thing, as Sam was explaining. Ooh, Metal Sonic.
Yeah.
I like it.
But yeah, full circle thing.
Because it even ends with the exact shot at the end of the opening credit scene.
Yeah.
That's another thing Adventure Time did. They had a few special series of like 10 episodes or so that they did over the course of it that always had a special intro. Like there was this fun one where they were doing like some pirate stuff. So They had pirate intro. There was like this whole big climactic elements section. So they had all the different elements in the intro, and it was like the whole world was different. And they do these special ones. And so the very last episode has its own special intro. And it's all about kind of bringing it full circle. It's not even about like, oh, this is a different intro. It's more like this is the new intro for kind of where the show is sort of resetting in a way.
Yeah, so kind of like the purpose of the ending is that Finn and Jake just kind of went on, lived their lives as adventurers, and the world went on, grew older, and 1,000 years later, there's new adventurers trying to find out just how the world was before. And it was just kind of like a nice little lesson of, you know, it's always just going to be going on, and
it gives you this
It's
really
like-
good feeling of like all these Adventure Time episodes had all these crazy like lore and just like made up silly shit that happens all the time, and it gives you the feeling that like now this new world that they're in has the same deal, but Finn and Jake are the ones that made that lore, and all that lore
Yes.
was created while you were watching Adventure Time
Yeah.
instead of it being the past. Like you just watched all the past that happened.
yeah. I don't know, it's very wholesome.
It's very good.
And they did lots of teasing to the ending. Like, at the beginning of the final episode, you're thinking, like, oh, this is gonna, like, end the
so
world
the final
in
episode
war.
starts out on the precipice of a giant war.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was rough. I'm gonna get a different spirit.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Oh.
But yeah, so the whole final season is leading up to actually a giant Game of Thrones style war where they bring back a bunch of characters, and it's like actually two giant armies going to fight each other. And so they set up the whole thing making you think like, okay, that's what's happening, is the world is actually going to end. We're going to see what happened when all the main characters kind of left and were finished with their stories and that sort of thing. Oof. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't change party.
Woman?
I'm
I
making
know.
sure. I'm just making sure.
But, and that's the thing with Adventure Time, too, is you're like, okay, it's a kid's show. Like,
It's a cartoon.
it's a cartoon show that's whimsical. They frequently talk about farting and spaghetti and those sorts of things. So, you would think that it would be a happy ending. But also, with Adventure Time, you know that shit happens. The main character of, again, this little kids show loses his arm for real partway through the show. Like, actually loses his arm.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have it for the rest of the show. He thinks he grows it back, but then it turns into a demonically
man.
possessed form of a different multiverse version of himself that has like an identity crisis that ends up being one of the bad guys at the end. Like, it's crazy. It's not just wholesome happiness, it's like real shit.
Yeah.
And so it could have ended with all the main characters dying in some war. There was no reason that that would not have been the case. But
But that's the thing, is like,
Yeah.
Finn and Jake have also been getting stronger and smarter throughout the series. Like, if this had happened season 1, yeah, it would have been a giant war. Finn and Jake would have run blindly into it to fight for PB, Princess Bubblegum, if you will. But this isn't the beginning of the show, it's the end of it. So Finn is trying to stop the war, trying to strategize, trying to make peace, and it actually works in the end because he's learned how to deal with things. And he actually is like a proper hero.
character development.
Yeah. Like, he's a hero. He's lived through too much to let like a war destroy the whole world.
The season
And then-
also starts with like his 17th birthday
Yes.
because the show actually canonically keeps track of how much
Yes.
time has passed, which can get crazy.
Yes, even if he's stuck on a dungeon train for like months on end, they count for it, and it's
And there's one
painful.
episode where he like goes into a coma
Yeah.
for like 6 months and the whole world goes to shit, and that was real time,
Oh my god.
which is ridiculous. And then a deer takes off its hoof and has
Oh,
fingers.
stop.
No, I can't stop. That's a thing.
I know.
That's the thumbnail now.
Oh, no.
Ooh, oh, cool. We're actually gonna get them from a
Weird.
little shop,
That's cute.
but look, it's an actual little Animal Crossing shop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that in the next episode.
Alright. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's full circle. It's exactly what the show was always meant to be. You know, I'm sure when they made the show, they said, okay, we're going to make these two main characters, and they're like wee little 12-year-old boys. And the point of this show will be to help them grow up and become true heroes of this dystopian world. And they do. And they stick to that. And, you know, they don't continue, they won't continue making episodes after they stop a war and doomsday from happening all at the same day. Like, it has ended, that's the story that they tell, that's their lore, that's the story for people to find out 1,000 years in the future, and it's really, it's nice to have a story with an ending like that. Ooh, I'm sorry.
She took my item from me.
This is spooky.
That was a mistake.
Dang.
Now I can do this, though. Yeah, but that's the thing. We've talked about this on the show before, and we've talked about it because it's important to me, and I think both of us, that endings are a big deal. Because whether it's right, whether it's fair or not, endings frequently define a whole series. If the ending's bad, in your head you might think the whole series is bad.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think that's fair, but that's the way we work as people, and that's the way these things go. So every time there's an ending that's good, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
What did she do to me?
Ah.
I can do this, though.
Yeah.
What's some of the other endings we talked about? Gravity Falls had a good ending.
Gravity Falls had a good ending.
I
That
think
was
we
only
talked
2
about that.
seasons, but it's great.
Which is part of why it was a good ending. So many things that end badly are frequently because they don't end, or they don't know how to end,
Yeah.
or they're not allowed to end.
Yeah.
And those things are unfortunate.
What else have we talked about? Especially with like TV shows because they go on for so long. Like the Dark Knight trilogy has a good ending, but that's easier for 3 movies.
There it is.
Nice. Season 5 of Supernatural is a good ending, as we discussed.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
All joking aside, it is a good ending. Is there any other endings we talked about on the show? On our,
I'm not sure.
our Let's Plays?
Parks and Rec had a good ending.
Parks and Rec had a surprisingly good
Yeah.
ending. Because Parks and Rec, that's the thing, Parks and Rec had 2 endings. So
my
Parks and
gosh,
Rec
yes.
had a... The enemy is easily distracted by items. Interesting.
Lol.
So Parks and Rec had an ending. It
That's
had a finale concert
Yes.
where they bring back Nemo in this person's hair,
Yes.
where they bring back like all the characters from throughout the show,
Yeah.
and it feels like a good ending, not just a ending, but a good ending.
Yeah.
But then we find out there's another season that takes place after a time skip of all things.
Yes.
And that is scary. Like, that could so easily go wrong.
Right. 1 season after a time skip. Very risky.
But they still do it good.
Yeah.
They still do it right. And I do mean they do it good. They do it well, but they also do it good.
Yeah.
And I mean that.
Yeah.
Superman does good. They did good.
What are your thoughts on How I Met Your Mother?
Bad ending.
Yeah. So that's an example of the bad ending doesn't ruin the show for me, but
Yeah.
Bad end- like,
that's
I don't
'cause
know
the
if we're gonna
ending
rewatch
has
season
good
9.
stuff, but it also just goes a little bit too far, is the problem.
well, because like that's a show that I'm constantly rewatching.
Points.
But like, we're rewatching it right now. We're in like season 7. I don't really care if we don't watch the last season, you know?
I think we will, but see that's an interesting one. That's a series that shackled itself into
Yeah.
going full circle, because we talked about how going full circle is a good thing, but in this case, they kind of took it too far.
Well, in this case, the circle is a bad circle. The circle is like an unhealthy idealization of a woman.
It's a circle. Well, it's a circle where the characters don't grow.
Yes.
which is unfortunate.
You gotta have a circle, but the circle has to happen after character development, is the thing.
And that's the thing. They literally recorded the end of the show when the show started.
Yeah.
And the season finale actually undoes a lot of character development.
Yeah, like the very last episode undoes, like...
Like, for example, Barney.
Oh my god,
who's the ladies' man. In the entire show, he is slowly developing into a better person. Slowly learning that he can love someone, that he can marry someone. He marries Robin. That's what the entire last season is about.
Is their wedding weekend.
And then they get divorced in the last episode after a time skip.
Yeah.
So,
again, time skips are risky. High risk, high reward with the time skips.
Indeed. Indeedy do.
Let me say that again for Dylan Hurd. High risk, high reward for the time skip.
I don't get it.
Just saying.
Ready? Go!
We're not in it quite yet.
I was gonna say.
I jokingly almost ended the episode, but
You worry me, honestly. Reaching for the laptop like you're about to end it.
nah, I gotta scare Sam sometimes. No, we're about to end it though because
Yeah.
we're at over 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say about endings while we're in our spoiler cast?
Right. I mean, they're important, and like, I know to say that endings are important means to put a lot of importance on TV shows and
I mean,
media,
it's not
I
TV
guess,
shows.
but
It's also
stories.
books.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's stories. Stories are important.
Yeah. And like, you know.
Lord of the Rings has a good ending. It's a sad ending.
Mm-hmm.
And
The
the book
books.
ending is important because it's
Yeah.
different from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Me, sword
Oh
fighter.
my god.
That's ridiculous. We're gonna get this guy and then end the
Yeah.
episode. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds good. But yeah, just very important part of storytelling is the ending, and whenever you're doing the ending, just make sure that
And you need to have an end. Ugh, that was not on purpose. And when you make a story, what are your thoughts on this, Sam?
okay,
Do you need to have the ending in mind when you make a story?
not necessarily. You need to have like the values that you'll keep throughout the story in mind, and it is okay to like change how your character is or
Get 'em.
you stuff like that, but it's got to have a reason behind it.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
think
just like, you know, get rid of character development that did happen just for the sake of the story. Like,
I think you do need to have the ending in mind because, like you said, that it needs to have those values that make sense.
mhm.
And if you don't have any idea what you're gonna do with the ending, it can just trail off.
Yeah.
Much
have to
like
know-
this Let's Play.
No, I was about to say. You have to know why you're telling the story, I think, is the important part for me. Like, you don't need to
Yeah.
necessarily know the ending, but you need to know why you're telling it, which plays a lot into the ending.
Yeah, as I was saying it, I don't know. Maybe you don't need to have the ending in mind. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Because like the Adventure Time creator very well could have had that ending in mind the whole time, where you sort of reset the whole world. And another thing I like about that ending,
Yeah.
the one thing people don't like, this is some bonus minutes on this one. One thing people don't like about Lord of the Rings sometimes is there's a lot of resolution. Like if you're reading
Right.
Return of the King, like a third of the book is after they defeat Sauron. Like seriously, a third of the book. And I love that because I want to know what happened to people. I want to know where the world is. I want to know how things turned out. I like knowing that.
And
but
I like that that's at the end of the book instead of like a whole other 7 books that they made, you know?
yes.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I also like having it open-ended so you can have some imagination to it. Like this Adventure Time finale, for example. It ends and basically resets the whole thing. You could think of all these adventures, all these things like, is Marceline still alive? Probably. Is she hanging
She's
around?
a vampire demon, yeah.
Like, what's she up to? Are they going to meet her? Like, Does the Finn sword actually have Finn's spirit in it?
Right.
Like, there's a lot of cool stuff you can think about, and I hope they leave it there. I hope they never make any more of it. I hope they don't make another Portal game. I hope they don't make any more Adventure Time, except they're making a movie, but I think it's going to be set before the ending. I hope they let it end there. Not because I don't think, but because I think that is where it is supposed to end. I think that's where they want it to end. I think that's the whole point of it, is that's where it's supposed to end.
And another tough subject, I hope that they don't reveal any of those things after ending the story. After you end the story, let the viewer or the reader fill in all the blanks. Let them imagine what happened in the world. J.K. Rowling doesn't let that happen. Every Harry Potter question in the world, she's there to say, like, oh, by the way, yes, there was a Jewish student at Hogwarts, and the most random stuff.
Yep.
No. Let the ending be the ending and be a good ending.
Much like the real ending of this Let's Play.
Wow.
And the ending of World of Light. We're never going to record in it anymore. This is the last episode. What happens with Galeem? Does Bowser just hang out with Kirby for the rest of the time? We'll never know, because it's open-ended. This is what Sakurai wanted.